You think it's love, but your brain is lying to you. You're addicted, not in love. You don't miss them. You miss the dopamine. That rush you felt, the small victories, the messages, the fleeting moments that made you feel alive. That spike of hope that tricked your brain into thinking you were connected. You're not heartbroken. You're in withdrawal. And withdrawal doesn't feel clean. It feels like a weight pressing on your chest, a tightness that no one can touch, no one can comfort. You check their page, over and over. You replay memories, not because you want them, but because your brain is desperate for the chemical it remembers. You romanticize the good, ignoring the damage, pretending the pain didn't exist. You convince yourself it's love, but it isn't. The chest tightens when they don't text. Anxiety rises when their name doesn't appear. You pace. You scroll. You tell yourself you'll stop, and then you do it again. Every time, hoping for a spark that isn't there, hoping to feel the same way you felt months ago, weeks ago, even yesterday. This isn't love. It's a neurological pattern. Your brain has been rewired to crave them, to crave the highs, the validation, the attention. And the more you chase it, the more it controls you. But there is a way out. There is a path to breaking it. Today, I'm going to show you what's happening inside your brain, why you feel this way, and how to take the first steps to free yourself. Not because you're weak, but because your biology has been hijacked. Part 1. Why toxic love feels stronger than healthy love. Imagine meeting someone who seems to see every part of you, every corner of your mind, every secret you've kept. From the very beginning, the connection feels electric. Conversations stretch into the night. Laughter comes easily, like you've known them longer than you should have. The intensity hits quickly. Almost before you realize it, you've shared things you've never shared before. Your heart races when they text. Every word feels meaningful. Every glance, every smile, it feels like a spark. Vulnerability doesn't feel dangerous here. It feels safe. And you trust them almost immediately, because something about their presence convinces your mind that this is rare, this is special, this is real. But then, sometimes, they pull away. A message takes hours, days, or goes unanswered. Their warmth feels distant. You start questioning yourself. Did you do something wrong? Were you too much? Too little? And then, suddenly, they return. A compliment, a touch, a sign that they are here, that they still care. And when that moment comes, your chest lifts. Your brain rewards you. Dopamine floods in. The relief, the rush, the hope. And just like that, you're hooked again. More than before. This pattern repeats, back and forth. Hot, cold. Attentive, absent. Present, then suddenly gone. Random gestures of validation. Moments of connection that feel monumental. Followed by moments of emptiness that feel unbearable. The highs are higher, the lows sharper. And your brain, your biology, doesn't just notice. It starts to crave it. Because here's the truth. The brain releases more dopamine with unpredictability than with steady, consistent love. Uncertainty, inconsistency, it drives the craving harder than comfort ever could. This is why, when someone is erratic, their presence feels magnetic. Your mind interprets chaos as intensity, and it bonds to it more deeply than to safety, more than to stability. It's like a slot machine. You pull the lever again and again, hoping for the reward, hoping for the win. Each time your brain hopes for validation, attention, affection, and every unexpected moment strengthens the connection, locks it in tighter. The rush of uncertainty, the craving of unpredictability, rewires desire itself. Your brain bonds harder to chaos than to stability. And that is why toxic love can feel stronger than the calm, steady, reliable love you long for, but often overlook. Because unpredictability doesn't just touch the heart, it rewires it. Deeply, slowly, relentlessly. Part 2. The Science of Romantic Addiction. Your brain is not indifferent to love. It is designed to react, to seek connection, to crave reward. And when that connection is inconsistent, when it brings both joy and pain, your neurochemistry begins to work in ways you can barely feel, but that control almost everything you do. Dopamine, the reward chemical. It spikes when something feels exciting, when you receive a message, a compliment, a touch, a glance. Your brain interprets it as a win. The unpredictable nature of these rewards amplifies the effect. You chase it, again and again. Each high feels stronger than the last because your mind is wired to notice novelty and surprise. That rush becomes addictive. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It rises with intimacy, with closeness, with shared vulnerability. It convinces your mind that this person is essential, that leaving them is impossible, even if their presence is also the source of pain. Oxytocin builds trust, it builds attachment, and in combination with dopamine, it binds desire and longing to the person themselves, not just to the moments. Cortisol, the stress hormone. It spikes when you fear loss, when communication stops, when the absence becomes heavy. And yet, cortisol doesn't just produce anxiety, it strengthens the bond. The moments of tension, the longing, the ache, they imprint. They teach your brain that the relationship matters so deeply that you must chase it, endure it, even when it hurts. This is the core of trauma bonding. Pleasure and pain intertwined, reward and stress combined. A loop your biology cannot ignore. Highs feel higher, lows feel lower, and every return, every moment of attention after absence, drives craving further. Your desire becomes magnified not despite the pain, but because of it. Because each low makes the next high feel like salvation. Each rejection makes the return feel monumental. Each silence makes their presence feel vital. The cycle of pain and reward carves itself into your nervous system, and your memory becomes a conspirator. It selectively replays the good moments. It edits out the bad, the argument, the insult, the hurt. These fade or are minimized. What lingers is the laughter, the closeness, the spark that made your heart race. Your mind reconstructs the past, focusing on what feels like proof of connection. This distortion ensures you keep chasing. It ensures the bond strengthens even when it should weaken. Your brain tells a story that keeps you engaged, keeps you longing, keeps you hoping. This is why toxic love feels unbearable, why leaving is not simply a matter of choice. The neurochemistry is real, the craving is real, the attachment is engineered to persist. And yet, once you understand it, once you see the mechanisms at play, you gain the first glimmer of control. Awareness itself begins to weaken the loop. You begin to separate the person from the addiction, the longing from the biology, and only then can you start to take steps toward freedom. Part 3. Withdrawal is not weakness. You are feeling what your brain interprets as loss. The anxiety rising in your chest. The racing thoughts you cannot quiet. The urge, that almost irresistible impulse, to reach out, to see if they are still there, to hear their voice, to feel once more what once felt familiar. It is not a flaw. It is not weakness. It is withdrawal. Obsession creeps in quietly at first, then grows. Memories loop endlessly. You replay conversations, moments, gestures. You imagine responses. You imagine reconciliation. You imagine a future that your mind knows may never exist. And yet, the craving persists, because your brain is trying to regain a source of reward that has suddenly disappeared. The nights are the hardest. Loneliness feels heavier when the world grows quiet. The ache in your chest sharpens. Sleep evades you. You notice your body, the tension in your shoulders, the pit in your stomach, the heaviness in your limbs. These are not signs of failure. They are signs that your nervous system is adjusting to the absence of something it once depended on. Physical discomfort, emotional restlessness, obsessive thinking. These are all manifestations of withdrawal. They mirror what the body experiences during detox from substances. Your mind has been conditioned to expect intermittent rewards. When those rewards are gone, your biology protests. It wants to restore the familiar pattern. It wants the comfort, the attention, the validation. And until the system adjusts, until your brain learns it will not return, the discomfort will persist. Understand this. The intensity of your longing is proof that you were invested. Proof that the connection was real for you, even if it was harmful. The cravings, the obsession, the sleepless nights, they are a natural response, a necessary recalibration of your emotional system. You are not failing. You are healing. Every urge you resist, every memory you observe without acting on, every night you lie awake and allow the longing to exist without giving it power, is progress. You are teaching your brain to tolerate absence, to find reward within yourself, to reclaim control over what was hijacked by external validation. This is not weakness. This is survival. This is strength quietly forming in the background, in the moments where no one is watching, where no one can witness the battle except you. Withdrawal is evidence that change matters, that the attachment was real, that healing will take time, and it is okay to acknowledge the pain, to feel it fully, to let your nervous system release what it has stored. The mind must unlearn, recalibrate, and rediscover balance. And every wave of longing that hits, every pang of loneliness, is part of that process. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are learning, slowly, to step back from what was never meant to nourish you. And that is the first step toward freedom. Part 4. Why you confuse addiction for love. Sometimes what feels like love is something else entirely. It can feel all-consuming, undeniable, urgent. But it is not the gentle, steady warmth of care and partnership. It is a mirror, reflecting the parts of yourself you were afraid to lose. And the more you cling, the more your own sense of self becomes entangled with the other person. Attachment wounds play a quiet but powerful role. Perhaps early on, you learned that love was conditional, that affection came and went depending on your behavior, your performance, your compliance. Fear of abandonment was encoded so deeply that even small withdrawals feel catastrophic. And when someone triggers those old patterns, your nervous system lights up. You respond not just to the person, but to the echo of old fears. You may have merged your identity with theirs. Your likes, your routines, your sense of value, all tied to them. You measured yourself through their attention, their approval, their presence. When they were near, you felt complete. When they withdrew, a part of you felt erased, lost, invisible. You were not simply in love. You were entangled in a pattern that made their existence synonymous with your own survival. Validation dependence becomes a quiet addiction. Every compliment, every acknowledgement, every sign that they still care is like air. Without it, the mind panics. Without it, you question your worth. And yet, when it arrives intermittently, unpredictably, your craving only deepens. You chase the highs and brace for the lows, believing that what is intermittent must be precious, rare, essential. An emotional scarcity mindset amplifies everything. If your past taught you that love is limited, that attention must be fought for, that connection is rare, you interpret inconsistency as proof of value. You cling harder. You justify the absence. You rewrite the narrative in your mind, focusing on what is present, excusing what is missing. And through this, the addiction feels like intimacy. The craving feels like care. The desperation feels like love. And here is the hardest truth. You didn't just love them. You attached your self-worth to them. The more you invested, the tighter the bond became. The more absence felt unbearable. The more your mind convinced you this was romance, rather than dependency. If losing them feels like losing yourself, that is not romance. That is dependency. Part 5. How to break the addiction. Practical rewiring. Understanding the pattern is one thing, breaking it is another. This requires intention, patience, and repetition. Your brain has been conditioned, for months, perhaps years, to seek reward in ways that were never healthy. To untangle yourself, you must retrain it. Step 1. No contact. It may sound simple, but it is profound. Every text you do not send, every call you resist, every moment you choose yourself over the urge, you are removing dopamine triggers. You are giving your brain a chance to reset. Without constant reinforcement, the nervous system begins to learn that you can survive, that you can thrive, that reward does not come solely from them. This is not punishment. This is liberation. Step 2. Remove visual cues. Social media, photographs, playlists. These are signals that keep the pattern alive. Each image, each song, each reminder reactivates craving. You must step away, delete, archive, remove. Each cue you remove is freedom reclaimed, a space where your identity can breathe. Step 3. Replace the reward system. You have been wired to expect pleasure from someone else. Now, give it to yourself. Exercise, skill building, creating, achieving small goals. Track micro wins. Finishing a workout, completing a project, mastering a skill. Financial goals, personal growth, creative pursuits. Every deliberate act floods the brain with dopamine tied to you, your effort, your choice. The craving shifts gradually from the other person to your own life. Step 4. Truth journaling. Write what they actually did, not how they made you feel, not the moments you romanticize. Write the facts, arguments, absences, inconsistencies. This grounds you. It reconnects memory with reality, stripping the distortion that fuels attachment. Clarity follows observation. Strength follows clarity. Step 5. Delay impulse technique. When the urge arises, pause. Delay for 24 hours. Observe. Feel the craving, but do not feed it. Every act of restraint rewires the habitual pathways that kept you dependent. Every pause strengthens control. This is all possible because of neuroplasticity. Your brain changes, it adapts. Through repetition, through conscious action, through consistent practice, the patterns that once bound you to craving begin to weaken. The pathways that reinforced longing are replaced with pathways that reinforce self-reliance, self-worth, autonomy. Change is slow, the discomfort real, but every small act of resistance, every conscious choice, rewires the system that once dictated your emotions.
Part 6. Rebuilding yourself after addiction.
Once you begin breaking the pattern, there is a vacuum. Absence feels heavy. The mind searches for what it used to depend on. And this is where self-rebuilding begins. You start noticing yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your boundaries, the parts of you that were always present, even when you forgot them. You may feel awkward at first, disconnected, unsure of what it means to exist without the other person as a reference point. And that is normal, because your nervous system is recalibrating. You are learning to generate your own reward, your own validation, your own comfort. You may cry. You may feel waves of longing. You may fantasize reconciliation. You may question whether freedom is worth the discomfort. But slowly, day by day, as you invest in yourself, as you reclaim small victories, as you celebrate the micro-achievements, the craving loses its hold. The obsessive thoughts weaken. The anxiety fades. You begin to discover who you are, outside the influence of another person. And it feels unfamiliar. And yet, it feels powerful. You learn to tolerate the quiet, to enjoy your own presence, to experience calm, to measure life by your standards, not by the presence or absence of someone else. Every step is reclamation, every act of self-care, every boundary reinforced, every accomplishment noted is proof that freedom is not only possible, but within your reach.
Part 7. The day you wake up free.
Imagine waking up without checking their name first, without anticipation, without longing. You sit up, stretch, breathe. You notice the room, the light through the window, the ordinary calm of a morning untouched by craving. You hear their name mentioned, and it carries no weight, no pangs, no surge of anxiety. You feel neutral. You feel calm. A sense of peace washes over you, subtle at first, then stronger, like sunlight breaking through clouds you've forgotten were ever there. Freedom is strange at first, ordinary, boring even, and yet boring is peace. Ordinary is stability. Quiet is restoration. And when you feel this, when the pattern no longer controls your heart, your mind, you understand that liberation was always within you. You had only to reclaim it. You were never addicted to them. You were addicted to how they made you feel. The rush, the validation, the fleeting moments that convinced you your worth depended on someone else. That is what held you captive. And now, you see it. Love, real love, does not create anxiety. Love does not leave you trembling in the silence, waiting for a message that may never come. Love does not make you question your value. Love does not make you bend, plead, or beg for attention. Love does not take more than it gives. What you experienced was none of that. You are not in love. You are in withdrawal. And withdrawal ends. It does not last forever. The intensity will soften. The obsession will fade. The longing will diminish. Each day, each conscious choice to pause, each act of resistance strengthens your freedom. If you are choosing to break the addiction, stay. Stay present. Stay aware. Stay committed to yourself. Witness the process. Allow the withdrawal to pass. Let your nervous system recalibrate. Let your heart remember what it feels like to be whole, without surrendering pieces of yourself to someone who never deserved them. You're not in love. You're in withdrawal.